Welcome to the deep dive about the Europace platform of the Hypoport Group. If you know Hypoport, you know we are a decentralized network. In the center and the core of the whole network is Europace, with major responsibility for the strong growth of the platform segment in the credit market. As well, the private client business is heavily supported by the Europace system. And real estate in a certain way is pretty interlinked. And you see with the amount of lines coming and going through Europace, that Europace is the center of this network, and especially the mortgage business on Europace. And that's why we are here for a deep dive to introduce you and tell you a little bit more about the Europace platform and how it works. Before we start to talk about the Europace platform, Europace is operating in a mortgage market, in the complex German housing market. This is a long-term growth market for the past decade, and looking forward for the next decade, it will be a growth market as well. We have a huge demand for labor here in Germany. We have a limited supply side. We have an overregulated renting market. And because of this, home ownership gets more and more important. Prices are rising for a long time already. And transactions are minimum stable, if not in the long run, even will increase. And this supports the mortgage market, where Europace plays a major role in this. If you want to get to know more about this mortgage market, here's a special deep dive about the German mortgage market on CT11A for you to look at. But now to the business model of Europace. What is Europace doing in this market? What is the value proposition we are offering? Europace integrates everyone in this market, from the consumer, so later the borrower, over different types of advisors, mortgage brokers, bank branches, which operates using Europace in the complete value chain and the whole process of advising a consumer, getting it offers, providing in the end the mortgage contract. Europace supports different types of intermediary structures, which enables this different kind of advisors to operate with a huge number of participants on the product supply side, the big commercial brands like Deutsche Bank, you may know, savings banks, cooperative banks. All this is from the product criteria side, so credit risks, credit score, pricing structure, how the contracts look like, what product criteria are available, what types of products are available, is all inside the platform and enables the advisor to access, you can say, millions of products just by using the Europace system. In the end, Europace is something like the SAP and the eBay for the advisor. And on the product supply side, it's the front end of an SAP where you interact with all your different kinds of intermediaries and advisors, the ones in your branches and the ones outside of your branches. And this all in one system, a SaaS-based, centralized, in the cloud, coming out of the cloud, accessible from everywhere in the world for everyone. The business model of Europace is transaction-based. So you don't pay for user access. You don't pay for using it to advise a client. You only pay if a mortgage transaction is closed. The payment is included in the interest rate. We increase the interest rate for the consumer by 0.01% and get this upfront discounted as a transaction fee. In average, this is 10 basis points. On a typical mortgage here in Germany right now of 300,000 euro means 300 euro per transaction. And it doesn't play any role if it's your own advisor or if it's a third-party advisor. This 1 basis point is added, and we receive this from the lender. This all gives everyone in the market a huge flexibility. A mortgage intermediary who's working together with a couple of hundred mortgage providers has a huge benefit by having them all in one system. A branch network and such a typical small bank has the option to sell its own product via the platform, or if the own product is not feasible, switch to third-party products from the same sector or from just anyone in this market and provide the consumer a solution for the need of the consumer. This is especially used in times where, let's say, the own product is not competitive. So as a price ventil, you can't provide a product because of complexity. So you're as a saving bank, you're not able to fund these long mortgages, and so you can off balance provide a product for your client, or just the consumer doesn't meet your risk profile and you can solve it via a third party again. This all enables Europace for the last 20 years to grow. Europace is needed in this market because we are heavily fragmented here in Germany. We have 1,300 product suppliers, right now 700 of them already on the platform, and especially smaller one added every month. You need for this role as an integrator of the complete market an independent player. It can't be provided by a certain sales group or a certain mortgage product supplier. It needs to be someone independent, and Hypoport is with Europace this independent party which provides the solution in a neutral way, fair to use for everyone, for the same pricing for everyone, with a clear focus of digitalizing this and taking the huge investment needed to achieve this for the complete market. As well, Europace is needed because here in Germany, for the last 20 years, we see that consumers are getting used to compare prices. This is a trend in other economies as well. Here in Germany, we see this for a long time. Germans are smart shoppers. They want to compare prices, and they expect this as well in the mortgage business. And this they expect this as well from their bank now, that they just not provide their one product, but that they offer them a variety and give them the chance to choose between different brands in the end. And last but not least, Europace is needed to create, let's say, the optimal efficiency in this market, so that every product provider just needs to integrate with one platform. Every sales organization can rely on the same platform. You can add a value as a sales organization still by finding USP and how you deal with the clients. But in the center, just one platform is, from an economic perspective, the best case for everyone in the market, including us, including the investor in Hypoport, because the return on each euro invested in developing this platform is the highest. And this we achieved in the last 20 years. We grew in this market. We reached in this 4 different segments of the market high penetration rates already. There we started first in the broker market. Roughly 60% of all mortgages are now transacted via Europace. The big private banks here in Germany, every second mortgage, close to every second mortgage is transacted via Europace. And in this sectors of cooperative banks and savings banks, every 5th, every 6th mortgage is now transacted via Europace. Especially in these 2 sectors, we see the highest potential still. 80%, 85% are still missing. And with a high dynamic, we are growing, especially in the last 5 years in these sectors, and gaining market share and adding transaction volume to Europace, so that we end up now with a total market share already of something around 25% here in Germany, with a huge dynamic. So when we talk about huge dynamic, looking forward, we don't stop there. It's not that when 85% of the market are migrated to Europace, this model is finished and just the growth of the market will keep ending up in our P&L. We keep developing the role of Europace within this market, and with this as well, the value proposition that we offer, and in the end as well, the pricing and the revenue share that we take out of the market. We have 4 areas of high investments right now, where we see that we are able to achieve additional value proposition with additional revenue shares. The first is getting closer to a client with Finn, an assistant, where we, for the current period, integrate the client in the process so that the consumer and the broker or advisor are interacting better. Second is the whole area of the proof of the data, so the documents. We heavily automated them already, and now we are working on this, that they are not needed at all anymore, that via interfaces, additional services, this information comes, or they are just not needed anymore because the proof is done different. Property valuation is a big issue because of the high intransparency here in Germany, and every property valuation, even if it's an indication in the beginning or the final result of an appraisal at the end, is something that we integrate in the platform currently. And with OneClick, we are working on full automatization of the mortgage approving process by as well changing how this works. And all these 4 areas of investment that we do right now have a long-term perspective where we change the role of advisor and credit officer here in the market. So with Finn, on the long run, we will come to the point that the consumer is able to close simple mortgages by itself without the help of an advisor. And when the system is recognizing that the probability of a closed mortgage is going down, it hands over to a human advisor. With the document approach, we will come to the point where no documents are needed anymore, and the whole process will get easier for consumer and or advisor. With the property valuation, we will come to the point where already when you just enter an ID or an address, all information of this will be available, and the value of the property will be just there without consumer or advisor having the need to provide this information. And there with OneClick, we will come to this point that major share of the market will just be fully automated approved without any human interaction anymore by any credit decision maker. For each of these additional features, we receive incremental additional revenue, typically transaction-based, so that out of this 1 basis point in the future will be a couple of basis points for each closed mortgage here on Europace. A little bit more details about these features, just that you get the feeling what we are working on and how we progress. Fin, so the direct consumer interface, the app started with the consumer could add documents and prove things that he exchanged with the advisor, that he's able to now calculate the offers by himself and let's say update what the advisor gave him, because in Germany we calculate mortgage rates every day. So rates are changing fast, and it's a little bit as well an pretty amazing experience for the consumer to just see how it changes and find the perfect moment to close the mortgage. And looking forward, Fin will make better offers than the advisor, so improve based on the interaction with the consumer, what is offered. And long term, as I said already, Fin will just keep holding the hand of the consumer and close the mortgage itself if it feels that it has a positive impact on the conversion rate. The second topic, valuation. We work on this, that each consumer, starting with the seller, the borrower, plus the advisor, get very early a very clear information about what the property they are talking about is worth. Out of the perspective of the bank, which in the end has to fund this risk, but working on this, that this is the single point of truth here in Germany. Because when a bank in the end is willing to finance a certain amount based on their valuation provided by us, then it should be much easier for seller and borrower to agree on this pricing tag as well. And here we work intensively along the value chain to get this in a certain way commitment, but as well trust to this what we calculate based on a huge number of data. We have all ask prices of Germany ever published on the internet on any platform since 2012. Plus we have all transactions on Europace. And so we have a huge data set about German properties and what the German property market is doing. An AI which gets every quarter better. We have the most accurate valuation already right now. We just need to gain the trust of everyone that our artificial intelligence, our algorithm is the best and is the truth. Yeah, and with the view on the OneClick product, so the automation of the credit approval process, we started with the most simple mortgage product already in the beginning of this year. We started with 2 banks which were underwriting these mortgages automatically. And in incremental steps, we learn now together with these banks what kind of properties we can add, what kind of consumer profits we can add. We changed fully the way how the data are gathered. So in the traditional mortgage process, a lot of information needs to be provided by the client and then proven by documents. In the OneClick process, where no loan officer is checking anything anymore, there's just a minor set of information that needs to be provided. And the algorithm is gathering additional information from the current account of the consumer. It's automatically interpreting data about the property from different kinds of platforms. It's automated validating this data and doing in the end the property valuation based on this automated validated data. This all happens in milliseconds already right now. And the hard work now is to convince more and more banks to offer this product as well. This, let's say, product in a completely different framework than their traditional mortgage product for a higher transaction fee. Let's say, to sign up more and more banks is the work that needs to be done now and in the next couple of quarters to make OneClick not a niche product, but a more and more relevant share of the market. What helps us there is that OneClick is not just a cost-saving program for banks so that they save the labor for the loan officer. OneClick is a game changer from the borrower side because within milliseconds, he has an approved mortgage. So in a market where speed is key, that you fast are able to give the seller a commitment to buy a mortgage product, which is there within milliseconds, it's heavily outperforming traditional mortgages, which typically takes something between 2 and 4 weeks here in Germany. So to be approved by a loan officer with all the checkings that need to be done and all the documents that need to be provided. So OneClick is changing the world, not just for the bank and saves costs for the bank, it's changing as well the interaction between borrower and seller and makes it possible to even further digitalize this area. And when we talk about this is a next segment here of Hypoport outside of the Europace system that we try to digitalize as well, transaction valuation of properties outside the mortgage world. And about this you hear when we talk about our quarterly development on the Hypoport world. So this all led in the last 20 years to a double-digit growth. In the last years, the transaction volume on Europace were increasing by, in average, by 18%. First half of this year, 40%. So all the time, double-digit growth above market. So German mortgage market over the last 5-10 years, something between 2 and 5% plus. And with our 80%, you see that we incrementally gain market share on a constant basis. It's a pretty organic process to sign up more and more sales organizations in the different channels, to convince within a certain bank more and more branch networks to put more and more volume on the platform. But as soon as someone is working on Europace, he's never leaving it again. So we are, for the last 5 years, we didn't lose a single partner or client on the sales side. So this said, check out the other videos here on CTLMA about our other reportings, and thanks for listening to the Europace Deep Dive.